Yes, Anup. Please start.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm C. Anubi Francis, Chairman of Thrissur branch of ICI. On behalf of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee of ICI, welcome all the participants in today's webcast on interpersonal communication skill for chartered accountants. I'm also welcoming CA Anuj Goyal Ji, Chairman of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee of ICI, CA Sri Priya Kumar, Vice Chairperson of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee of ICI, and today's resource person, none other than CA Nakul Arora Ji, and the event enablers, CA Sadish TG, Vice Chairman of my branch, and other persons, Vivyada, Past Chairman CA Jean Paul Sir, and all other dignitaries present over here. So my official duty to welcome you all has been done, and I'm going to introduce our Vice Chairperson, Sri Priya Ma'am. Sri Priya Ma'am doesn't require any kind of introduction, still matter of a courtesy and a protocol. I'm introducing our Sri Priya Ma'am. Sri Ma'am is a Central Council member for 2022 and 25 of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. She had earlier served as a Central Council member in 2016 to 19 and in South Indian Region Council in 2012 to 15. She is currently the chairperson of Sustainability Reporting Standard Board of ICA and also vice chairperson of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee of ICA and Corporate Laws and Corporate Governance Committee of ICA and members of various non-standing committees of ICA. With these words, I'm welcoming Sri Priya ma'am to have some words to the live webcast. Thank you, ma'am.
To my chairman, CA Anuj Goyal, CA Dr. Anuj Goyal, sir, a very long-serving Central Council member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, chairperson of the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee and the Ethical Standards Board of ICAI, possibly the most important board today, and the vice chairperson of the Sustainability Reporting Standards Board, and CA Anup Francis and his team from the Thrissur branch, who have been the event enablers today, to CA Divya and the vice chairperson as well, and to the speaker of the day, Nakul Arora Ji, who's here to guide us on one important aspect of the professional skills enrichment for chartered accountants. So just to give you a small brief on the committee itself, we have clearly charted out 3 distinct paths to enhance professional skills. Now, we found that both members in industry and practice, most of us don't have a guided path on soft skills, which is why this committee actually came up. Most of us are SMTs in practice, and similarly, only maybe 10% of the population works with corporates which have structured training programs and HR development goals. So we felt chartered accountants have to be enriched on aspects such as communication, presentation, writing skills, negotiation skills. It's not just in the context of a fee. How do you, interact with your teams? How do you negotiate for better deals for the betterment of institutions? Emotional intelligence, critical thinking, design thinking, things that we are possibly doing, but we can do better. So the committee has 3 structured approaches. The first approach is these webinars. So I'm sure all of us can't attend all webinars, but we've had a rocking attendance of an average of 1,644 people across our webinars, which we've held till date. That's our path 1. The path 2 is we have a set of programs called PSCC 100. We want to do 100 focused training programs with just 30 to 50 participants. These are being held 3 days a week. If a particular branch wants only for its members also, you can approach the committee. We are very happy to do a guided session for you. We charge only 100 per participant, but we insist the participants to come on the video during the presentation program so that people can interact. That's our second mode. And I'm very happy to let you know that I think we've finished about 21 of those. So we're doing quite well. And we've had an average attendance of 44 people in every session. Many of them I find are repeats also. People come for more and more modules. And the third initiative is we have developed course modules for 8 courses, 3 hours each. You can run it in your branch, and I request Anup to commence it at Thrissur as well. We'd like the branches to complete all the 8 modules by September so that we can release the fresh modules. Again, grants from the committee are available. And in all this, I must place on record my exemplary appreciation to CA Dr. Anuj Goyal, who's constantly at it. Anytime I call, he's with the secretary in Delhi, and I really feel that he's spending a lot of time. So with these brief words of introduction, I extend a very, very warm welcome to all of you. You might suddenly ask, what is this event enabler business? Now, we said, look, ICA is doing a lot of things, but we need to involve more of our fraternity. So we've been calling the leaders of the branches to serve as event enablers, to actually run the program. I finish in about 5 minutes. Anuj sir finishes in 5 minutes. Then we'd like the branches to display a national leadership. So this webcast is looked at by both people in India and abroad. So today, when we have the branch leaders, whether it is CA Anup Francis, the chairperson, CA Jean Paul, the vice chairperson, CA Divya Dharmarajan, the treasurer, and CA Satish from the branch, we actually believe that this is a very small step that we are making to actually make sure that each of us have an opportunity to speak on screen and to do much better and to progress further. Also thankful to the secretary of the committee. Takes a lot of effort in organizing these programs, Dr. Sambit Mishra, who's at it all the time. We've finished about 45,000 man hours of training, and our goal is to reach 1 lakh man hours in the next 1 month. So we're going to have these webcasts, and we expect that it's beneficial to everybody. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful message. Next, I would like to introduce our own chairman, CA Dr. Anuj Goyal ji, chairman of PSC ICI. I'm making an informal introduction on behalf of the Professional Enrichment Committee. CA Dr. Anuj Goyal ji, Central Council member for 2022 to 25 of ICAI. He is a qualified FCA, FCS, FCMA, MCOM, LLB, PhD, DISA, and DRM holder. Besides that, he is a 6-time Central Council member. Thank you so much, sir, for being 6 times in the committee for serving us. And he is the chairman of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee of ICI, Ethical Standard Board of ICI, convener Publication and CDS Directorate of ICI, Vice Chairman Sustainability Reporting Standard Board, Vice Chairman Taxation Audit Quality Review Board, and member of various non-standing committees of ICI. He's a dynamic Central Council member who always with the prime objective to serve the members of ICI at large and always stand with and for the members of ICAI. He had earlier served as a chairman of CARC of ICI and in other position of CARC of ICI and chairman in Ghaziabad branch of CARC of ICI before joining to the ICI Council. With these words, I'm inviting CA Anuj Goyal ji for making a couple of words to the members over here. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, CA Anup Francis ji, our honorable chairman of very, very prominent Thrissur branch, which, of course, under the leadership of Sri Priya ma'am, is doing wonders. We are having, of course, our honorable WISC Vice Chairperson, CA Sri Priya Kumar ma'am, honorable Central Council member from Chennai. And under her leadership, we are trying to put our 100% to see that how we can really do something very, very concrete, not only for the cause of the members, not only for the cause of the profession, but also in turn for the cause of the society and industry, because when we will be having the empowered chartered accountants, enriched chartered accountants, of course, they will be contributing in a more better manner for the and the society at large. We are having the presence of our very, very prominent resource person, young and dynamic, CA Nakul Arora sir. I welcome Nakul Arora ji on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, on behalf of the Professional Skill Enrichment Committee. We are having our very, very prominent event enablers, our Honorable Chairman Thrissur Anup Francis ji, Honorable immediate past Chairman Jean Paul ji. We are having Satish TG, Vice Chairman, Thrissur branch, and of course, our Honorable Secretary of Thrissur branch, CA Divya Dharmarajan ma'am, and all the respected professional colleagues who are with us, not only from India, but also from other parts of the country, other parts of the world. I think more than 2,000 chartered accountants are live with us. I welcome all of you on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and on behalf of the Professional Skill Enrichment Committee. And friends, for the first time in the history of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, after 75 years of the formation of ICAI, the leadership has thought it fit, and the leadership means Sri Priya ma'am, has thought it fit that we should have a committee through which we can empower further the best of the chartered accountants of the world, how we can further enrich the skills of the best of the chartered accountants. And I'm really very happy to let all of you know that we are really successful. Sri Priya ma'am and all of us have tried our level best. Dr. Samit Misra ji is with us, the Honorable Secretary of the committee. I think the way we have tried to reach out to each and every member of the profession, to reach out each and every leader of the profession. We have the survey with the help of all of you, more than 3,000 response we got. Then we have the interactive meeting with all those who participated in the survey. We interacted with all the leaders of the profession, all the CP chapters, study circle conveners, all the branch managing committee members, regional council members, so that what are the needs of the hour. And we had engaged an expert, with the help of which ultimately we designed this PSCC 100 also, in which we are having only 50 members, non-CP hour program, and that too the contributory program one has to pay, whether it is a small amount of 100 rupees. So very serious business through Professional Skill Enrichment Committees, PSCC 100, and thrice in a week we are having it, and the best of the speakers, best of the topics we have identified, and how we can have very interactive meeting. And you see, in the best of the traditional programs on the income tax and or GST, you will not be having such an audience which we are having in our webinars. Today also we are having close to 2,000 members participating. That shows how important it is for the members to see that how we can really do something very concrete to further enrich the skills of the best of the chartered accountants. And the interpersonal skills, I think we are having the best of the resource person, Nakulji, and whether one is of 22 years age or whether one is of the 72 years age. I think learning is one thing, updating is one thing, enriching is one thing, which will never end, and which is required to even Prime Minister Modi ji. He also to upgrade himself time and again, even at the age of 73. So I'm really very happy that we are having the best of the supports of all of you, and we are very well aware that communication are very complex. It is two-way processes with people sending and receiving messages to and from each other simultaneously. And in other words, communication is an interactive process. While one person is talking, the other is listening. But while listening, they are also sending feedback in the form of smiles, head nods, etc., which I am witnessing from Sri Priya ma'am. And all communication is influenced by the context in which it takes place. However, apart from looking at the situational context of where the interaction takes place, for example, in a room, office, or perhaps outdoors, the social context also needs to be considered. For example, the roles, responsibilities, and relative status of the participants. The emotional climate and participants' expectations of the interaction will also affect the communication. Interpersonal communication involves the information, ideas, and feelings being exchanged verbally or non-verbally between two or more people. Face-to-face communication often involves hearing, seeing, and feeling body language, facial expressions, and gestures. In other terms, interpersonal communication is exchanging information, meaning feelings and opinions between two or more people via verbal and non-verbal means. Although we mentioned face-to-face communication previously, today's technology compels us to expand its definition to include media such as phone calls and online messaging also. It is a fundamental skill that plays a crucial role in the professional world, enabling us to build strong relationships, resolve conflicts, and collaborate effectively. So we are having the best of the resource person, Nakul Arora ji. We are having the best of the event enablers, and we are having best of the leader in the Central Council, the Vice Chairperson of the Professional Skill Enrichment Committee, Sri Priya Kumar ma'am. I will request all our honorable members, all our honorable delegates who are with us. I think more than 2,000 delegates are with us. To please stay with us for the entire session, and you will be certainly getting something very, very concrete, which will be a game changer for all of us. I once again welcome all of you on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, on behalf of the Professional Skill Enrichment Committee. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anuj. That was a great message from a learned person like you, sir. Thank you so much once again. I would like to request our Vice Chairman, CS Satish TG, for narrating the objective of the program. Satish, over to you.
Maybe he has a device issue or something. So would you like to call him and
Yeah, I'm just trying.
I'm sorry, I was traveling. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
yes, Satish.
Oh,
Please.
I'm sorry. I have an urgent meeting somewhere else. Sorry. Thank you, Chairman, giving an opportunity to talk about the objective of this program. Actually, interpersonal communication skills are the abilities that allow individuals to communicate.
Satish, would you like to come on video as well?
I'm sorry, I'm just logging through my mobile.
Great. No problem. You sound very good.
Sorry.
Please continue.
Yes. Actually, this skill includes active listening, clear communication, empathy, and building strong and keeping relationships. These skills are vital for building strong relationship, fostering collaboration, and clearly conveying ideas. Actually, it's very simple. The most straightforward and basic interpersonal skill meaning is face-to-face communication. But there is so much more to effective interpersonal communication. In fact, there is a whole range of interpersonal communication skill, and we are about to explore the topic at length. You will see how communication and interpersonal skill make up a valuable part of success in the workplace. Today's section, learning objective is to enrich the interpersonal skills of chartered accountants. These words I give as I think I give as and conveyed the objective of the program. Over to you, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Satish, for describing the objectives. I would like to request our Honorable Secretary, C. Divya Dharmarajan, for introducing the speaker. Over to you, Divya.
Thank you, Anu, for giving me the opportunity to introduce our learned speaker for the day. CA Nakul Arora, a seasoned chartered accountant and dynamic public speaker, boasting over 14 years of enriching experience across diverse domains. Nakul's professional acumen extends far beyond the conventional realms. His deep-rooted understanding of professional skills, ethics, and industry nuances empowers professionals to navigate complexities with confidence. Nakul's illustrious career trajectory has seen him conduct transformative corporate workshops for esteemed organizations. Through these engagements, Nakul has imparted invaluable insights, igniting the professional journey of countless individuals. Thank you.
Thank you, Divya, for the wonderful introduction of our speaker. Sir, it's over to you, Nakul, sir. The entire floor is yours. Please enrich us with the skills you are having. Thank you. Welcome, sir.
I would like to begin with the formal regard of the most dedicated human being I've seen for chartered accountants. Every breath he takes is for the other chartered accountants and youngsters like us. See Anuj Goyalji, see Dr. Anuj Goyalji, the most dedicated chairperson. And of course, it is only fair that I mention that I've seen a very hardworking, and she has always given the best and precise feedbacks to all the members of the institute. I think CS Priya Kumarji, it's only fair to give regards to her. And of course, C. Anup Francis Ji, the chairman of the Tirusu branch. We've got the vice chairman, C.S. Satish TG. We have the secretary, C. Divya Dharmarajan Ji, and Dr. Sambit Kumar Ji, the very busy secretary. I think he has been doing so much. And I think he truly complements the chairman of the board and the vice chairman. And with that, I would like to throw some light on the beginning of the session, which was when the objectives were laid out of the session. I would just like to add that because in today's world, face-to-face communication has become a luxury. Remember these words, because if you think that only face-to-face is going to help you out in today's world, today there are many clients you might have overseas or maybe within the country that you'll never come in touch with face-to-face communication. But still you have to touch that client. So before we begin with what objectives we have for you, what Satish ji has already told and what I want to tell you, you need to have in your mind your own objectives of today's session. How do we take today's session? We firstly ask the question that what is in it for me? Why should I learn interpersonal skills? So to make you a little aware of the situation, I will just illustrate a skill called why skill. Years ago, there was a monument in the United States of America which was getting deteriorated. Why was it getting deteriorated? Instead of just going and cleaning it or restoring it, the American government paid a research team which went down there and started conducting a research on what was the main issue of the problem. The beginning came out that the issue was they were using hard chemicals to clean that building, which was deteriorating the quality of the material. Now the question came, why were the hard chemicals being used? Because a lot of bird feces were found on the building which had to be cleaned. They came to the next why. Why were birds there? Birds were there to eat the spiders. Then the question came, why were there spiders? Spiders came because there were mosquitoes. And the last question, why the mosquitoes were there? It was because in the evening, to illuminate the building, the light was thrown directly at the building. They just had to change the settings of the light. They just had to throw the lights in other directions so the mosquitoes don't gather up on the building in the evening. And finally, the issue of the building maintenance was solved not by cleaning, not by restoration, but by fixation of lights. So whenever you have to solve the problem of the session or maybe any problem in your life, you need to go deeper and deeper into the layers. So firstly, I'll tell you, when I first attended a interpersonal skills workshop, my why was very simple. I wanted to know why there were maybe handful people who did not like my presence in the room. It is true that you cannot satisfy everybody in the world, but still you need to address the elephant in the room. If there is certain characteristics of you that have always been pointed out, maybe people find you arrogant and you think, I'm not arrogant at all. They should change their perspective. Here's where interpersonal skills come into picture. It is about what the other person thinks, acknowledging it, and finally taking an action on it. So instead of blankly throwing a blame that others don't think right, we will today focus on our skills and learn how we can change perspectives and build healthier relationships. So these are the table of contents, what all we'll be learning today. First, we will understand interpersonal skills. We'll understand the communication skills. We'll then correlate them. Of course, to have these skills and still not being able to build good relationships is because the lack of emotional intelligence. So we learn emotional intelligence as well. And then we learn how to build strong relationships. The biggest and the most important part is the joker of the pack, the teamwork and collaboration, because most of us are professionals. No matter we sit in the industry or we run our own firm, we at the end of the day need to have productivity. So we need to focus on teamwork and collaboration. Let's move on to first understanding the interpersonal skills. Look, I would want you to make notes if you're watching me. And if you're not able to make notes, just put a notepad in your phone or just chat to your favorite contact who can understand that you're just making notes. Please write the first line. Individuality is overrated. Individuality is way overrated. Why do I say individuality is overrated? Well, in the recent past, I have seen people focus too much on how they can stand out inside a room instead of focusing on how they can mix up inside the room. So, the biggest mistake we're making is not reading the room. I will share small stories between the session. So, what happened is, let's take a character named Nisha. Nisha walks into the room. The room was very silent, and she just goes in and cracks a joke. What happened? Did somebody die in here? Sooner she realized that one of her colleagues, let's call him Ramesh, his mother just passed away 5 minutes ago, and he was just waiting to collect his emotions and go back home. Now, the joke she cracked, she did not intend to hurt the colleague. Listen to me. Sometimes the damage you do, we say we did not intend it to hurt you, but you did hurt them. So sometimes unintentionally hurting somebody or unintentionally doing an act could lead to the repercussions equivalent to actually doing it intentionally. Remember one thing, just sit down and recollect one of the peoples you totally dislike. One of the people you totally dislike. But when you sit and relax, you will always feel that they do not intend to hurt you. They do not intend to go bonkers on you. And if you think one of the persons is like that, think of the second person you do not like. Because just like 10 people don't like us, we don't like 10 people. You will remember that it is not about what they intend to do. It's not about what actions they are taking. It's about how they are making you feel. So first and foremost, to understand interpersonal skills, you need to start reading the room. That means the moment you enter a room, that could be any room, it could be the Zoom meeting that I have entered. The moment I have entered this room, I was told by the vice chairman that there are 2,000 people on the line. Now, when 2,000 people are there, I need to read the room that people are extremely into learning this topic. They want to learn more about the topic. And to do justice to you, I need to have all my resources focused towards making sure that you learn out of this session today. And I had to raise my energy, even though my scenario has not changed. I'm still sitting in the same room, even if there are just these 6 people on my screen. I do not see you all 2,000 people, but I have to remember on the back of my head that this room has a large audience. People are here from within the country, from abroad, and I have to make sure that my language is easy to understand and still you gain a lot from today's session. Now, let us try and dig deep into the concept of understanding the interpersonal skills. So, to understand interpersonal skills, I need to start throwing some light on how it affects we as chartered accountants. No matter we are practicing or we are a part of the industry, we are trusted advisors and financial experts. We play a pivotal role in guiding clients through financial challenges. We provide strategic advice and ensure compliance with regulatory requirement. So mostly our job is being a bridge. However, the ability to build rapport, communicate clearly, and resolve conflicts diplomatically is equally essential in fostering strong client relationships, team relationships, and subordinate relationships. You need to gain trust and deliver value. So, we will explore this range today You may be a seasoned practitioner. Maybe you've been practicing for, let's say, 30 years, 20, 25 years, or you might be just a newly qualified chartered accountant embarking on your professional journey. This session promises to equip you with knowledge, insights, and tools you need to excel in today's competitive business environment. So let us start the journey and understand our important role and our part in the society. First and foremost, we will go with interpersonal skills, or the ability to communicate and interact effectively with others. These skills are essential for success. Remember, these are not an alternative to the hard skill. Many people ask me that would we actually gain something by just having the interpersonal skills? I have to completely be very disappointing towards them and say, actually not. Just by interpersonal skills, you would not attain anything. But to sell any of your hard skill, you would need to have interpersonal skills. So to understand these skills, we have to start the natural process and define these skills. So we all know this is the ability to communicate, interact effectively. Please make a note of this word. It has to be effective. No matter you are trying it intentionally, you start doing it unintentionally, you're making a mistake intentionally, you are totally going against the theme of the room and the conversation without any intentions, of course. It matters is how you make people feel, how people around you are feeling when you are in the room. So remember these words. Now, moving on, first and foremost, the interpersonal skills encompass communication. The ability to convey information, first clearly, second effectively. It has to be both verbal and non-verbal. Like the chairman was initially pointing out, head nods, smile, claps, giving thumbs up. This is one way of non-verbal cues that the other person is relating to you. As accountants, we need to be able to explain complex financial concepts in a way that our clients, colleagues, investors, they all understand what are we trying to say. And this requires not only technical knowledge, but ability to listen actively. Why is listening important? Sir, listening is actually beginning of the communication. So sometimes when we start the session, which is interactive, which we were discussing, PSEC 100, they say most of you should keep your cameras on, all of you should, and you should talk to the speaker. So when we enter a room, we do not start with what we have to say. Today it's a webcast, so we are starting with it. But in any room that we enter, no matter that we have taken this topic 100 times, in every room we enter, we ask, what do you expect? Or what do you know about interpersonal skills? Why do we ask these questions? Because we need to start from where our audience is and reach where we both think it's effective. Hence, same way, when you have to convey complex financial information, do not assume that my clients or my audience is of this status or this understanding and knowledge. We need to make sure that we collectively understand what their level of understanding and what their way of thinking is, so we can communicate the information correctly. So you can ask questions or you can tailor the communication to the audience. The most important part is you need to be quick with taking the different route. Okay. So furthermore, they are crucial for leadership, management. So we often find ourselves in positions of influence. As chartered accountants, we are at positions of influence sometimes and mostly. Whether you're leading an audit team, advising the client, or you're managing a department, even if you're a chartered accountant who has been put as head of operations in some organization, it is not surprising. We as professionals accept that role. To be effective leaders, we need to inspire, trust, and have confidence in others. We have to motivate our teams. We have to foster a culture of accountability, that whatever you're doing, you're accountable for it without being rude to them. And we have to foster a culture of excellence. This requires not only technical skills, but emotional intelligence, empathy, and a lot of integrity. Now you might be thinking, but aren't interpersonal skills something you either have or you don't have? Can they really be learned or developed? I know it has been pointed out through a lot of memes, a lot of posts on the internet lately that you're either born a leader or you're not a leader. Actually, the answer is a resounding yes, you can learn these skills and develop them. While some people may naturally excel in this area, you cannot help that because some people have skills since birth, or some people have a way easy to learn any skill. But in fact, I would argue that they are just as, if not more important to our success as technical skills. So if we have worked so hard to learn so many technical skills, we can see a balance sheet and say the condition of the company, we can predict the future of the company, then why can we not work on the on the soft skills as well? So let's move on to the next slide and understand that it's like a pretty face. So, many people argue that interpersonal skills are just like a pretty face. It's good that you have them, but it's not essential for success. Well, as chartered accountants, you should not only, work on being technically proficient. You're communicators, collaborators, and you're also leaders. If you're not investing on your interpersonal skills, investment can be of anything: time, money, a lot of efforts, a lot of reading, anything you have to invest into it, you can build stronger relationships. Consequently, if you have strong relationships, you can get more done, you can control the quality, and you will never have to micromanage. Trust me, one of the most painful things to see in today's world is micromanagement of the leaders. So please don't be a micromanager. You have to be a very crucial person of the team. Now, because the topic is interpersonal communication skills, we will now dive into the most important part, which is the communication skills. And then we have to correlate that it is interpersonal communication skills that we are talking about. Hence, today we have the privilege of understanding a topic which is very vast. And thanks to ICI, we have 2 hours for our disposal. Since it is a one-way session, I think I can deliver more. Any which ways, as chartered accountants, we often have a task of conveying complex financial information. To whom do we convey? Clients, of course, our colleagues sometimes, stakeholders. Our ability to communicate effectively can make all the difference. Trust me, it's a lot of difference in the understanding of the financial statements, interpretation of tax regulations, and making informed decisions. The clients make decisions based on our advice, consultancy, whatever we want to say that. Therefore, it is imperative that we hone our communication skills to excel in our profession. First and foremost, let's talk about effective communication techniques for chartered accountants. Communication is not just about speaking. Okay, remember, when we're saying communication, it's not just speaking. It's about conveying ideas clearly and persuasively. You have to be influential and persuasive, and you have to convey the ideas clearly. Many of us hate the reelers who make cringe reels and still get viral and are making more money than most seasoned professionals sometimes. Is it really as sad as we see? No, they are able to persuade the audience to see what they are making, or they are making what the audience wants to see. Maybe behind closed doors, but that's exactly what they are actually serving, what people want to see. As CAs, we must adapt at tailoring our communication style to the suit we must tailor the communication styles to suit our audience. How can we do that? Well, since this is a webcast, I'm talking to you from one direction. You might have different internet connections. There might be lags. So I'm trying to be slow and steady. I'm connecting the dots. I'm trying to bring in the paragraphs from the previous slide. Why? So that all of you can relate. And this is tailoring the conversation in to adapt our audience. Now, whether we are explaining financial reports to the clients, presenting the audit findings, now this negative information, if we do not have the interpersonal skills on negative information, you can always say that you'll come back as a most disliked person in the room. But do you know those people who say the most disruptive information and still have good relations with their clients? Well, this is because they have good interpersonal skills. Now, they have to respond thoughtfully by effectively listening to the client or the person. I'm using the word client because obviously I think like a chartered accountant, but I can say any person in the conversation, other person, they listen well and they respond well. That's why they have a trust built. They have a good collaboration they can foster, and they uncover valuable insights through their working. Now let's dive in to the strategies for clear and concise communication. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Okay, firstly, for clear and concise communication, just give me 1 second. Okay. So in the fast-paced world of finance, I think brevity is the key. What is brevity? We need to distill complex information into clear, concise messages. You know, the distillation process where you purify the information that we have into a clear and concise message. So that can be easily understood by all stakeholders. We all do this communication while making the audit report, right? This means avoiding jargons. Using too many jargons can be catastrophic. Use simple language and organize our thoughts in a logical manner. By communicating clearly and concisely, we can avoid misunderstandings and ensure our messages resonates with our audience. All right. Moving on, let's understand the challenge of handling difficult conversations. That's a big challenge. I am sure many of you will agree. I'm sorry, I just take a pause because I'm about to ask a question and I forget that I am on a webcast, so the question will not be answered easily. Just give me 1 second. So, yeah, the important part is communicating financial information clearly. We have to have some tips for that. So please take out your pen and paper, and I'm going to share some tips for communicating complex financial information clearly. As financial experts, we're often called upon to translate complex data into actionable insights. To do this effectively, we break down complex concepts into digestive chunks, use aids to enhance understanding, and provide real-world examples to illustrate key points. By demystifying financial information and making it accessible for all, we can empower our client and colleagues to make informed decisions. So in conclusion, effective communication is the cornerstone. It is the cornerstone for success of a chartered accountant. By mastering communication skill, such as active listening. Now remember, this skill is very crucial. Active listening. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen more, talk less. 2 eyes, 1 mouth. Observe more, say less. Make a note of it. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen more, talk less. 2 eyes, 1 mouth. See more, that means observe more, and share less. Now, why do we do that? Active listening, clear and concise communication, and handling difficult conversations. We can build trust, we can have collaboration, and drive positive outcomes of our clients, for our clients, and also the organizations we work for. This applies for all practicing and chartered accountants in the industry. So let's commit to honoring our skills and making sure that those skills are marketed right. We hone our communication skills and become more effective communicators for our profession. Now, this is one way of talking. We can definitely understand it a little deeper going forth. All right. So I hope you're all clear on the topics. Still, I'll move on and understand the strategy for clear and concise communication. So this is to make notes. First is brevity. What is brevity? Distillation or purification, or just precising and making sure it is understandable and usable. We distill the communication into clear, concise messages that can be easily understood by all stakeholders. We have to avoid jargons, use simple language, and organize your thoughts. Before you start any communication, please, I request you, organize your thoughts. Now, please think and organize your thought about that. Yes. Third, make sense. So you have to communicate clearly, concisely, avoid misunderstandings, and ensure our message resonates with the audience. It relates, it is like our audience likes it. It is the way our audience, understands the message. Look, again, like I told you in the beginning, it is not about that you did it unintentionally and hurt somebody. It is not that you unintentionally did not make sense. You have to make sense no matter intentionally or unintentionally. Because if it is not communicated to the audience, what is the point in arguing that if I made sense or not? The point is, if you did not make sense, your work will not be done. No matter, you can obviously argue with your teachers, you can argue with the college professors, maybe someone in the organization you can argue with, but can you argue with the outside world? If you don't make sense, you don't make sense. So work on making sense, even if you have to make a lot of efforts on it. So brevity, jargons, and making sense. Now, these are some negative communication practices which have to be avoided at all cost. Moaning Martel. I'm not sure how many Harry Potter fans in the audience, but whosoever is, they know the name, and whosoever does not, it's not a very important thing to know Moaning Martel. But you to understand, you should not be dull. If you think being dull once in a while is okay, just think how many times do you face an individual. Like some people say, it's okay to feel sad and not smile sometimes. So you need to take off and sit at home when you're not feeling okay. If you're getting out into the work environment, have that smile on. Why? Just try and remember. If you're a practicing CA, put one of your top clients. If you are a CA in industry, put your CFO. And if you're somebody at leadership like a CFO, please think of your investors. How many times do you face them total in a year? You don't meet investors every day. Normal accounting team does not meet their CFO on a daily basis. They get a chance very less often. As a CA, we do not meet our top clients every day. We have to attend other tasks too. So if you are sad and mourning anytime, you do not know, that is the time you have the right person in front of you. So please have that smile. Please be energetic. Do not look low. Do not have a frowned face. This is a negative communication practice. If you're high energy, please be high on energy. I'm not saying change your way of living. Not having a smile or a 7-inch jaw is okay. Like you should not always be like, it's okay. Some people look like this. We don't have that big smile. We do not look like a Bollywood actress, but it's okay. We at least should have the most positive expression on our face. Now, second sin or the second bad communication practice is dominance. If, like, how do I explain? It's on your screen right now. So if you fall on your bed sleepless and you're thinking, remember, it's not by being sleepless. It could be a problem. You can go to the doctor for insomnia. But if your thought is that, oh, I lost this conversation today. My junior was saying this. I should have answered this to him. Or you're in your bed, you're thinking, well done. I really owned that person on this conversation. I'll be sharing this story with you because to me, you all are in this room. I've seen many people who are very proud of winning an internet keyboard battle. So I shut him out. I shut him for the opposition. He was claiming too much for one political party. I supported the other. I shut him up. You're trying to dominate conversations. It might look good at some places in a debate or a setting like that, but mostly a person who's dominant is actually considered boring. And those who are listening, please remember after these things, I will share one way that you will know, that you'll understand that, okay, this is how people are boring. And if you're boring, luckily you're not inside a room, you're alone right now. You can just think you can change that habit from tomorrow. I'll tell you how boredom works, how people are boring. Some people have the most interesting stories and they're still boring. I'll tell you that in a minute. Okay. First, let's complete this. Eye contact. Okay. Don't fake it or you'll never make it. People say fake it till you make it. Make a triangle on the forehead. What this and not that. No, you have to make an eye contact. Simple as that. If you're nervous, try sweating, try doing it for less time, do it less often. Or let me just tell you, if you talk only when it is necessary, eye contact is not a problem. The problem comes when we try to talk out of turn. If we are needed to talk, people don't scare us. If we need to communicate, eye contact becomes easy. But looking here and there, like I'm not actually looking at you in the room. I can easily look at this, this small line in the side of me. But okay, I cannot do that. Why? Because for me, the way I'm looking in the screen or the camera right now, trying my level best, is the way of making eye contact. So just imagine me talking like this, me taking a session like, okay, I have my phone, okay, just do interpersonal skills, this, that. Is it working for you? No. Until you know that I'm interested in telling you what I'm doing and what I'm telling, you would be least interested in what I'm saying, because I'm not interested in talking to you. No eye contact tells people that the person is not interested to talk. And trust me, being a youngster with spectacles, I've seen this a lot, that usually the reflection that comes into our eyes, even if we're looking in the camera, can you see the reflection on my spectacles right now? It makes a little diversion, but still we have to sail through it. So be like a ship, okay? Of course, being distracted, it's a big problem. So undivided attention has no alternative. How are people distracted? Like I told you, I pick up my phone, try talking to you. Even when, did you notice when I was addressing the session in the beginning, when I was talking about the chairman of the board, the vice chairman of the board, they were present. They were on the video. They wanted to make sure that I feel that they are there. And that is why they earn respect, and that is why they have what is different from all of us. They are on the video, they don't do other things, they nod, they join hands. Why? Just to ensure that we know that they're not distracted and they understand what we're saying. Moving on. How can you decorate a conversation? I promised you I'll tell you how not to be boring. We'll do it just after the points are finished. I'm sorry you cannot communicate. Otherwise, I know at this point, most of the rooms say that please tell the boring story and then we'll know the pointers. So let's address the room. I know you want to know how to not be boring. Okay, please listen carefully. How boredom can be handled. Most of the people don't think of you as boring. Even if you're boring, don't think about yourself, because it's very difficult to see flaw in ourselves. It's easier to see in other people. So let's address the flaw and then address our problem. Whenever somebody is telling something, that person will turn the conversation and make it about themselves. I'll tell you how. So I am sitting and I start telling, okay, yesterday I was driving my car all the way to Jaipur. Delhi to Jaipur is a long drive and I was very tired. And suddenly a guy says, yeah, it's a long drive, very tiring. You know, once I drove from Delhi to Mumbai, it's the most tiring. You don't know what a tiring drive is. Or sometimes he may say, yeah, I understand Delhi Jaipur highway. I take it every day. It is, oh, you know that restaurant on that highway? It's great. I go there every time. I like eating this, that. People who do not respect the speaker, who do not respect the statement that is coming in, and start talking about themselves again, and again, no matter they have the most interesting stories. So you tell them that how you saw a tiger in the jungle, they'll say how a tiger chased them. And they might be honest, but still, people want to be heard. People want to say, they want you to listen to them. If you don't listen to them, you're plain boring because you're not able to express yourself, and just one person is telling the stories. So that person becomes boring and people start avoiding them. So remember, if that is your problem, maybe from tomorrow you can start addressing that. And how to address that? The moment you feel like you have to interact, you have to say something and make it about yourself, or you have to tell your story at this point, choose to admire. Let's start with the decorations of the communication. The moment you think like, okay, I have to tell a story about her. No, no, no. I have to admire them for what they have been doing. Okay. Don't let a conversation pass without a compliment. Except where you talk often, it will look cheap and creepy. If you talk to a person every day, don't make every conversation about admiration. But otherwise, if you get a chance to talk some now and then, make sure you pass compliments. Like the board, we don't get to talk to the board every day. So whenever we get a chance, we throw admiring compliments. They throw compliments at us, we throw at them. Because that's a way of making sure that people feel valued in the conversation. Of course, now this you will find it is very different from what I said about being boring. Actually, I'm not saying that you cannot add an idea. If somebody is talking about a solution or maybe a problem, you can always add your ideas, but add to help others. So you don't make the idea yours. Just add your input to the idea. For example, there is one way. Okay, I was making a balance sheet and I said, I like to write it this way that it is cash in hand. And one of my youngsters, my article assistant actually, came up to me and said, sir, it is cash on hand. I disagreed. I fought back, but then they quieted down. I checked on the ICI's official formats and it was cash on hand. Now, if they said, no, 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 you leave this balance sheet, I'll make it, I'll tell you how to make it correctly. They changed some fonts, some formats, and they said, look, I've made it better. That was owning the idea. But just making small amendments and letting you take charge is called adding ideas. And that's how you have to talk. Hand them the slides. How? You can try to finish their sentences. Sometimes you can do it, but don't break it every time. So if somebody is saying, I want you sitting here, I'll sit here. I want you to go out, I'll go out. No. But sometimes people are saying something, you head nod, and in the end, okay, and then finish this, this will be done. Thank you, sir. And please don't try to practice this with your seniors. Because when you do it with your seniors, you have a huge chance of offending them. So try and finish sentences. This is a decoration. So you don't decorate everything, but you put decorations here and there. Okay. Then you have to unite. So how do I say unite? Remember what I started with. I said individuality is overrated. So try and find common ground. Try and make things about, making you close to each other. How do we come close to each other? So I was recently sitting with one of my friends, and he happens to be somebody from the West. So I said that, okay, so you are a non-resident Indian. And he said, no, 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 I am an Indian who does not reside in India. Please, I'll repeat. I said, so you're a non-resident Indian? I said, you're an NRI? He said, no, 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 I am an Indian who does not reside in India. What was so special about that statement? He united me and himself on one common ground, that we are Indians. I live in India and he does not. We're not very different. We both come from the same city. We are citizens of the same country. We hold the same passport. But when we say we're non-resident Indians, that means, okay, you are non-resident first and Indian later. So I relate, okay, outside, you pay taxes to that government. So instead of taking yourself far, because that's how we have been taught. Okay, people write their caste, community on the car. Why to do that? I mean, simply having a car is okay. But that's called uniting yourself with all of the people. as much as you can find common ground, you'll have a good decorative communication. Now, as we said in the beginning, communication skills are not about conversations only. I said find common hobbies. Why do we say find common hobbies? Do we want you to talk about them? No, sometimes if you want to have a very strong relation, start practicing hobbies together. Now, since we are all adults here and we can make our own decisions, I'm taking a controversial example. But this is just to understand the topic better. Because all of us have heard that the relationships that you make over alcohol are everlasting. Sometimes people say, oh, when we do nice things, it's not always going to last. But when you do bad things together, they last. Well, that is because you're practicing a hobby together. And of course, a lot can happen over a coffee. I'm not promoting any brand, but yes, having meals together is something which everybody is interested in. Food is something which everybody eats. Some people live to eat, some people eat to live, but both of them eat at the end of the day. The most common ground, and having a meal together tells a lot to you about the other person. And of course, they learn a lot about you. Right? And also on meals, read the room. Reading the room is always important. Moving on, we come to the emperor of the entire topic. This is the king of the topic, which is emotional intelligence. Please be very careful because we are about to unlock professional success through emotional intelligence. In communication and interpersonal skills, being emotionally intelligent is extremely important. We're diving into a topic that is not often discussed in a professional setting, but is crucial for success. Popularly, we call it EI, if you've heard that. So we'll explore what is emotional intelligence, why it matters, and how mastering it can transform our professional lives. So let's begin. Understanding it firstly, let's understand what emotional intelligence is. It is emotional intelligence or emotional quotient. Sometimes people call it EQ. It encompasses the ability to recognize and understand and manage one's emotions. Firstly, our own emotions and managing the emotions of others. Sounds like a witchcraft. Sounds like a technique which we can rule over the world with. No, it's not that. It's not that sparkly. It's a little more subtle. So we'll try to keep it realistic. It's about self-awareness. Of course, when you know your emotions, that's when you can address others' emotions. It's self-regulation, empathy, social skills. Research has shown that emotional intelligence is a stronger predictor of success than intelligence quotient. So, do you understand? Your IQ, which is most commonly talked by, is actually subordinate to EQ in some research. Remember, in some research. So having less intelligent can be worked with. You can have a team, you can obviously work harder, but having a good emotional intelligence counts for more success. So firstly, we need to learn that how we recognize and manage emotions. So one very senior person, Warren G. Bennis, says emotional intelligence, more than any other factor, more than intelligence quotient, expertise accounts for 85 to 90% of success at work. IQ is a threshold of competence. You need it. Of course, do not forget this line. You need it. So don't think that I'm saying intelligence and EQ are alternatives. You need to have IQ, otherwise you don't get in the room. But to become a star, you need to be emotionally intelligent. So firstly, remember, if you don't have IQ or hard skills, you don't get in the room. But if you get in the room, then the second tick is having emotional intelligence. That's how Warren G. Bennis explains it. So, why emotional intelligence is highly regarded? Why recognizing and managing emotions is important. In a professional setting, emotions are often run high. So emotions are very high when we are professionally working. Somebody being rude to you, somebody is being nice to you, salary is credited, your loan is EMI is coming in, you need to make money, you didn't get a good appraisal. So many things are going on. The emotions are high. And it is such a crucial thing that this number is the total market projection for therapy, for emotional therapies, which we need. My God, this is a big number, 69 billion. And we need to understand that whether it is dealing with a demanding client, whether it is facing a tight deadline, because there we have to deal with emotions of our colleagues, young subordinates, and maybe seniors sometimes. Navigating through office politics. One very good thing I learned during my MCS training, most chartered accountants would have gone through MCS, or at least all will be aware of it. One faculty told me that you can never, this is a very bad excuse that you give, that there's a lot of politics in my office. There's a lot of politics in being a chartered accountant. Well, you cannot say that you don't know something when it is a part of your job. Office politics is often part of your job. It is not written on your job profile, but still it is there. So you have to navigate through that. You should have a recognition and management of emotions. Our ability to recognize and manage our emotions is paramount by developing self-awareness. Firstly, when I said, okay, I leave for my office, I have an argument with my wife, I have a problem with my neighbor when I'm taking the car out of the car park, and suddenly I'm very angry. Now, my colleague at my office, my assistant, gives me a bad news. I need to be self-aware that I'm myself a little aggravated right now. So my reaction should not be a sum total of what I wanted to say to my wife, my neighbor, and my colleague. I say it all to my colleague. What will I do? Because of lack of self-awareness, I've ruined my professional relation. By developing self-aware and self-regulation, we can respond to a challenging situation with composure and clarity rather than reacting impulsively. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Now let's talk about empathy and how it helps you build relationships. Empathy is the ability to understand and share feelings of others. It is a cornerstone of effective communication and relationship building, of course. By putting ourselves in our client's shoes, we can anticipate their needs. Of course, when you are dealing with okay, as a chartered accountant, let's start talking about my personal experience. I work for two kinds of clients. Okay, one, pro GST. They have a GST number, they pay a lot of tax, and they have a lot of input, small margin. So of course they're very pro GST. They need everything on a GST bill. They want every bill to be counted for when they're out making an output. And one liquor shop that I have as a client. Now they do not have GST as their even as a registration. They don't have a registration number. So when I give them a bill, they usually want me to take that matter into cash and don't raise a bill for it. But let me ask you a question as chartered accountants. Being a professional chartered accountant, having all the SOPs of the firm, is it ethical or is it even possible that I do assurance activities without getting GST from that client? Now, because I understand that client, I put myself in his shoes, I just talk to him in that way. I charge equally that I charge to a person with GST. So that client is always finding me 18% more costly. But still, because I understand his needs, I understand their feelings, I'm able to talk him into taking the action and not negotiating an inclusive bill. Because if it is an inclusive bill, that client will be approximately 16% more expensive to me. I don't want that as well, but we have to settle somewhere. So we can better anticipate their needs, we address their concerns, and we foster trust and loyalty. Because I talk to that person, I talk to all the clients who do not require GST, that this is the problem. I understand you will not get the input of our bills, but we cannot do a lot about it, and it is unethical, and you don't have a proof that you took service from us. So that is how they were very satisfied. There's a lot of trust that we have built with them, and yes, loyalty at the end. They're not going anywhere for the next 10 years at least, until I am in my full energy. Moving on, strong client relationships are built on empathy, and they are essential for long-term success. And another thing, we take a full session on that, and I have already taken it with the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee. Conflict resolution. How can emotional intelligence help navigating through a conflict? Well, conflict is inevitable at a workplace. However, how we handle a conflict can make all the difference by leveraging our emotional intelligence. Remember that by leveraging our emotional intelligence, we are able to resolve conflicts with the help of emotional intelligence. All right. Let's talk about the empathy part. Empathy is not actually you're trying to understand their problem, but actually trying to think like they're thinking, trying to be what they are, and then giving a solution. Okay. So, by leveraging our emotional intelligence, we can approach conflict with empathy. Remember this word, we approach conflict with empathy. Because we approach it with empathy, we are able to deal with self-awareness. Now we actively listen, we have an open mind, and instead of escalating tensions, we can seek common ground and find mutually beneficial solutions and strengthen relationships in the process. So let's try and conclude what we have learned about emotional intelligence and empathy. So one of the most important learning is learning about oneself, and that is self-awareness. As we conclude our exploration of emotional intelligence, let's remember that it is not just a skill to be mastered. It's a mindset to be embraced. You have to be emotionally intelligent, not just have emotional intelligence so they can use it anytime. It is a switch which has to be always on. It's like the sensors in your car. So whenever you're driving, whenever you're standing somewhere, whenever you start your engine, there are sensors that are on all the time. This is the way emotional intelligence has to work in your head. It is a mindset that you'll embrace. By cultivating self-awareness, empathy, and social skills, we can elevate our professional performance. Sorry. We can enhance our relationships, create more positive work environment, of course, and a productive work environment. And it is not just for ourselves, but people around us. And that is how you make better relationships. Because remember what I told you, people remember how you made them feel, not what you did intentionally or not. People remember you for how you make them feel. So of course, if you're emotionally intelligent, you consider emotions, you're able to influence people around you and make them feel a more positive and productive environment. So moving on, let's start this to another level. We need to commit ourselves to practicing self-awareness, empathy, and effective communication in our daily interactions. By doing so, we can unlock new opportunities, overcome challenges, and ultimately achieve greater success and fulfillment in our professional lives. Remember, emotional intelligence is not just a tool, it's a mindset, it's a way of being, it's a way of living. So we have to embrace it wholeheartedly and watch as it transforms not only our careers, but also our lives. So this was about emotional intelligence. I hope you got it clearly, and I hope you've been putting questions on the slides as well. And I think we will have the question round in the end. If you're putting questions, and if you're not, please start putting your questions if you have any about what we have learned so far. But now we will take this to another level. We will now strengthen the emotional intelligence. So you need to have it. I hope you agreed. I hope you understand it. So we will now start talking about, strengthening this intelligence. First, before you react, make sure you think twice. or thrice or 10 times, whatever required before you think that what you're doing is a response and not a reaction. Note this down. It has to be a response and not a reaction. Whenever you feel, okay, this is my feeling. I'm about to talk and I'm feeling like this. Oh, I'm trying to display something very quickly. No. In the number of times you're able to say it like instead of this. I mean, some things can only be learned through body language. I can only explain it like instead of throwing that, you just have to let it pass. So don't fall like a waterfall, flow like a river. That is the time you need to think before you speak. Despite being the sole decision maker, listen to others' opinion. Okay. Even when you're a sole decision maker, do not miss out on listening, even if you're a proprietor. You have to be innovative in reactions by thinking like a third party, by thinking like somebody you're not, but still reacting like that, you strengthen your emotional intelligence. And of course, the best way to not react is think about the consequences of reaction when you're about to react. So when you're in a car, you are alone, you have a weapon, somebody misbehaves on the road, you get down and you start fighting. What goes different when you have your wife, your mother, and another woman in the car? Why your reactions are so humble and mellowed down? I'll tell you why they are. Because you've connected the dots and you understand the consequences now. When your kids are there with you, you understand consequences better. Similarly, not just on the road, not just in an unprofessional setting, in the professional setting, think like your kids are always with you. Because yes, whatever happens in your office affects your personal life at a large scale. So that's how you are able to control your emotions. So I'm thrilled to embark the next journey, which is to explore the profound importance of building and maintaining professional relationships, especially in the context of accounting professional. As chartered accountants, our success is not only hinges on our technical expertise, but also on our ability to foster strong and meaningful relations with clients, colleagues, stakeholders. So many people, we have to have relations with them. In this part, we will delve into the significance of building relationships, discuss effective networking strategies, and explore ways to build trust and credibility. You should be trusted and you should have a credibility built for yourself. And examine how to leverage relationships in relationships that they can generate referrals and business opportunities. Now, don't think that when I'm saying referrals and business opportunity, I'm only talking to the practicing CAs. Even when you're in a job, you're into industry, you would want people to actually be interested in you so that you can get good referrals and you can get good offers from, of course, for different jobs, for different people, maybe your ex-boss, maybe your seniors from past, maybe your current colleagues, when they join different organization, you need higher pay, better position, better work environment, everything. So why don't make that relation where you get referrals and you get opportunities? First and foremost, let's recognize the paramount importance of building and maintaining professional relationships in the field of accounting. As trusted advisors to our clients, we play a pivotal role in their financial well-being and of course their success as well, because their success is almost our success. By fostering strong relationships, building on trust, integrity, and mutual respect, we can better understand our client needs, provide tailored solutions, and ultimately help them achieve their goals, which is somehow our goal too. So, networking is a fundamental aspect of relationship building. For chartered accountants, networking provides us with valuable opportunities to connect with our peers, industry professional, and of course, potential clients too. By attending industry events, seminars, and conferences, the ones which are physically done, we can participate in professional associations. We can actively engage on social media platforms. We can expand our network exchange ideas, and stay abreast of the industry trends and developments. This is one of the best ways to have a good network. You can build trust and credibility, and you just don't have an option. This is essential as a chartered accountant to thrive in your professional endeavors. Trust is the foundation of any successful relationship and is earned through integrity, reliability, transparency. By constantly delivering high quality work, providing honest, objective advice, and upholding the highest ethical standards, we can earn the trust and confidence of our clients and colleagues, of course. Moreover, chartered accountants can leverage their relationships to generate referrals and business opportunities. Satisfied clients and trusted colleagues often the best sources of new business or new job opportunities. By nurturing the existing relationships, asking for referrals, and actively seeking new opportunities for collaboration, we can expand our client base, grow our business, enhance our reputation, or get into the right room at the right time. In last, we just want to say that building and maintaining professional relationship is not just a skill. Again, it is a mindset, the way of being for chartered accountants. We always need to have a good network. We always need relationships. We are forgetting an important part, which is department. We need to have good relations with the departments, the authorities, the ministries, the ICAI. We need to have relations everywhere. How can we do it? Not easily, but yes, we have to invest time, effort, and you have to nurture relationships, have an effective network. Now build trust between each other, have credibility, leverage your connections. Leveraging the connections is important. You can unlock new opportunities, drive growth, and achieve success in your endeavors. So now that we've covered the importance of relationship at work, let's talk about type of work relationships. It's important that we understand different types of relationships that we can have at work. So, first and foremost, not all work in relationships created are equal. That's not how it works at work. Some will help you propel your careers, other will help you keep sane. You have some friends at work you just talk to so that you don't react and go bonkers every day. So those are the friends, those are the relationships that keep you sane. Some are helping you to excel in your career. Only a few can even be detrimental. Okay, remember that. Few can also be detrimental. The more you can build strong and meaningful relationships, the more likely you are to not only succeed, but be more satisfied with your career. Second, there are two types of work relationships, professional and personal. You see the screen right now? Some are professional, some are personal. Professional relationships are solely for the purpose of getting your work done. There's no other purpose. Just get your work done. You get the work done from them, or they getting their work done from you. They help you advance your career and would not exist if your job, personal relationship at work, or anything else changes. So, if you have a relationship, it will change when you leave that job. You will not be in touch with them. That's a purely professional relationship. You're there because you're there. All right. And then they don't impact your job other than that they improve your workplace satisfaction up to 96%, let me tell you, and keep you sane. These different types of work relationships are not mutually exclusive. Some people will fall into both professional and personal categories. These are the truly and most important relationships that make work fun and also more productive. So let's understand the 7 types of relationships that have been mentioned. Just give me 1 second, there's some problem. All right. Firstly, co-workers. They are neither professional nor personals. Co-workers, they're just circumstantial. You're in the same room, so you're there. They are acquaintances through your company, but beyond working in the same organization, you have a very little interaction with them. All right. So co-workers serve little role professionally or personally, but serve a valuable role in that they're often in the pool of people from which other meaningful relationships will start. So co-worker is a big pool from which you'll pick up your relationships, from where the relationships will come. Team members, they're very professional relationships. They are fellow employees who work on the same team, who work on the same task, similar tasks that you do. This could be the team you work with on a daily basis, a committee that you've joined, or maybe it's just a group that you gather for a single activity. It's just like we take it in ICAI terms. If you have attended a conference, there's always a committee that gets together for conference. If you have attended the council, the branch committee, they are also councils, committees. They are together on daily basis, but still they are team members. Now they're important because they are the people you actually accomplish work with. You plan, design, develop, and execute, and also you track the status of your work together. The better your relationship with your team, the easier it is to get the work completed. And let's come in with the next person, the work friends. People also have work wives, but it's okay. I'm just going to say work friends. They're very personal. They are the ones you interact with socially at work. You sit with them in meetings. You go to lunch with them. You may talk with them. You go for a tea break with them. You go for a smoke out with them. You also go for events, happy hours, and possibly you see them outside of work as well every now and then. So you make Sunday plans. You take trips with them. Anything. They're work friends. They fill our social need and keep us sane. It's a daily grind. The workplace is it's a very difficult place to be on. But still, because you have work friends, they help you keep sane. And you likely wouldn't be friends with them if not for your mutual employment. Remember, you're friends because you were at the same place, but otherwise there would have been no reason that you would have come together. But they serve as a support system during the corporate hours. Of course, a strictly professional relationship is your reporting manager. Your manager is the one assigning you the work, helping you succeed, and ultimately impacting on the work you do or you don't do. Even that one. That's with your reporting manager. They're the ones who, and of course, there are people who report to you. They can be called direct reports. They also determine that you succeed or not, of course, because if they don't work, your work is not done, and it hardly matters what else is going on in the organization. The relationship between you and your manager is, of course, important because it determines your salary, rating, work plan. They have a larger factor in your work satisfaction. However, if I talk about your direct reports, you have to serve these functions, and they serve in a way to accomplish more and more tasks with your organization without you doing all the work. Of course, we call this one work wife, work husband, office spouse. You don't go and cheating on your spouses, by the way. This is just a way of explaining. Office spouse is the person you spend significant amount of time with. You can go out with them. You go for venting. You say bad things with them. You go for them for advice. And there have been rumors that you two at one time or the other, even though it's platonic. I'm not saying it has to be different genders. You can be same gender, but you have that kind of a rapport going with each other. The role is to serve your workplace bestie, go-to friend, and when you have a work predicament, they can keep you from jumping off the leash. And are the person with you, the one you trust and share your emotions, frustrations, and know you the best, and any of your workplace relationships. They know everything. It's okay to have that as well. You should know who is who. Tell them what is what. And of course, it's fine to have any relationship, but just know what it is and treat it like that. Mentor or mentee. It's an extremely professional relationship. Highest level of professionalism you can have. It is similar to intimacy that you have of the office spouse. And it serves both professionally and It serves both professionally. Your mentor is the person that you go to for your career guidance, right? They might be like, as a practicing CA, I have some senior chartered accountants we go to, we sit with them, we learn from them. As an office employee, you might have somebody within your organization, senior than you, worked for maybe 10, 20 years, and they help you with toughest of the tough problems. And the mentee that you have who comes to you for their advice, their role in your life is again important. They help you transverse and landscape, they help you transverse and the landscape at your job. They help you think through the most challenging problems, give you a perspective on how to handle most challenging relationships, and generally guide you to success. That's how the role is. And of course, for the mentee, you serve the similar purpose. And then you make life friends as well. This is clearly personal. This is again even more than the work spouse. This is the most intimate work relationship you can have, and you do not even consider specific work. That is of the friend in real life. They would be your friends even if you no longer work in the company. Remember that. There are people who I am still in touch with. I worked with them for maybe 14, 15 years ago, but still I am in touch with them, and still we go out. We have a Sunday brunch together. Sometimes we go out on a trip. Those are my life friends. They are the ones who fill the same role as your normal social friends, because that's what they are. They're normal friends. Even when I left the job, they're still with me. We're still together. You have fun together, laugh together, cry together, and possibly get romantically involved together as well. No discussions of personal lives. And they aren't friends you know at work. They are friends you happen to work with. Right. Obviously, let me just, I'm trying to just, get it summarized in a way that real life is not as structured as it is depicted in these differentiations. In relationships, of course, some people will be in multiple categories. A manager can be a mentor, a manager can be your life friends, which happens to be true for me. That one of the people who's my life friend, my client now, and I've been working with him for the last 10 years. He was one time my manager and one of my closest friends. He's a work friend, he's a life friend, and of course, when I got promoted, he was my office spouse as well. So there's some blurred lines between two or three of them. However, having an understanding of these basic type of work relationships can help you determine the purpose of the relationship, and of course it can help you in a way that you can make the most of it. Remember, you can make most of it by just having the right clarity. Remember, as chartered accountants, when we started studying, they used to say that have the incomes and expenses in the right head. And of course, today this is right head. Let's come to the last part, the joker of the session. We're going to talk about critical role of teamwork and collaboration in the accounting profession. We often work in teams to tackle complex and challenging, analyzing, and providing strategic advice to our clients. In that, we will also understand the importance of collaboration. We'll discuss effective teamwork strategies. We will try to explore how to lead and contribute to successful teams, and examines in the ways to resolve conflicts in team dynamic. Firstly, it is important to have collaboration. Effective teamwork is essential for chartered accountants. Yes, it is. To thrive in their professional endeavors, to foster successful team, it is essential to establish clear goals, roles, and responsibilities. From the outset, by clarifying the expectations and aligning the team members, efforts towards common objectives, we can enhance productivity effectively, and we can also enhance the outcomes. Moreover, effective communication is the key to successful teamwork. You don't communicate well, you don't have a good teamwork going. By fostering open and transparent communication channels, actively listening, having, remember that you listen actively and respect diverse perspectives. So when we're in the workplace, many people have a diverse perspective. They have a different perspective than yours. How will I tell you? Let me try and explain. So there was this incident in Southern Korea that in a tunnel, a car met with an accident. Okay. Immediately, all the other cars started parking in the sides of the tunnel. They started parking towards the side of the tunnel. And in a few minutes, an ambulance had a way, a clear path in between. So it reached the person in problems, and it was able to resolve and take the patient, and maybe a life was saved that day. Now remember, imagine that situation coming in India. Do you think that there is the same thought? The difference is in Korea, people think collectively and we think individually. We will always think it's important that we reach on our dinner on time or we meet our wife on time instead of somebody being able to save their life. It's a bitter truth, but it is how it is. So, because people come from different backgrounds, it is for sure that there'll be different perspectives. So be very open-minded towards them. Because with these different perspectives, we get the right results. That is why we all are together. Right? Excuse me, just give me one second. Right? So because if we give an opportunity to speak, we can have a more constructive feedback. Like I was reading about the CEO of Amazon. The rule at Amazon is they start by letting the youngest or the most subordinate person to speak. Because I think very rightly said by Jeff Bezos that if the seniors have spoken, the juniors will have a very hard time in contradicting them. So why don't we just give them the opportunity to speak first, and we can get a better objective, a better perspective, so everybody has their perspective heard. And that is how they are promoting trust, collaboration, and synergy. Additionally, by embracing diversity and inclusivity, the teams can lead more creative problem solving, better decision making, and stronger team cohesion. The chartered opportunity to lead and contribute to successful teams. We have the best opportunity to lead straight away. Just some technical issue. Now, let's understand that resolving conflicts. Sorry, we were at the different point. Yeah. Thank you. Resolving conflicts and enhancing team dynamics is also essential aspect of effective teamwork, by the way. They're inevitable, conflicts will happen, but they can be managed constructively as well. And of course, you can manage them through open dialogue, active listening, and seeing win-win solutions. By addressing early, you promote empathy and understanding. You can foster a culture of trust and respect. We can strengthen team relationships and enhance overall team performance. Right? So it is essential. Of course, we need to have a teamwork and effective communication, and all these things are essential. That is about it. This is how we address conflicts and we are able to collaborate and promote teamwork. I would want any questions if we have the enablers led by CA Anup Francis ji. Do we have any questions available?
So yes, I would request CA Divya Dharmarajan to handle the Q&A session. Divya, so over to you.
Yes, sure. Just a minute.
Yeah.
So Nakulji, we have quite a few questions. So I'll go ahead with the first question. So post-COVID, communication is increasingly dependent on digital means. How can associated challenges using this medium be effectively dealt with?
Of course, we are very much. That is why in the beginning I addressed that when you are listening to the session, make sure that you listen to it with an open mind, that the techniques have to be applied on digital means as well. First and foremost, like I told you, that there's one way of talking. Let's expect Divyaji and Anupji, you're listening to me right now. There's a PPT on your screen, but imagine that I'm talking like this. I have my camera shut down, my name is there, and I continue talking. So firstly, you're already creating an environment of nobody being there. And just because I'm sitting inside a room, I should not stop my body language. I still need to move my hands. I still need to move my body pacing. I can still move left and right. I can do everything that I do in the room. And trust me, the one who's listening is looking at you as well. If somebody is not listening, they can be absent even inside a huge auditorium. But if somebody is listening, they're listening to you even on screen and they're looking at you. So if you're not, dressed to the occasion, if you're not able to express yourself, then we need to work on ourselves. The smallest screen does not matter in size because the brain is focusing on that part of the screen, right? So that is how it works on the digital means as well. Try and be on the camera, be dressed for your work, and please try and be dressed from the head to toe. Because people I've seen, just dressing their upper body and not really ready with all the upskills because the attitude changes with all the things. Let's move on to the next question, Divyaji.
Next question. Sophistication is fine, but sometimes we have to create some pressure to settle the issue. Then what kind of things should be kept in mind?
Absolutely perfect. I said emotional intelligence. I said reading the room. I said not reacting, but I never said not being aggressive. You have to read the room. It should not be impulsive from your side, right? Listen to me. I shout at my colleagues. You also shout at your colleagues. Everybody does. We take our higher volumes. We take our lower volumes. We on streets we get abusive as well sometimes. But remember, what I'm trying to tell you is controlling that it should come with a thought. You've thought that you have to talk this way. I'll give you an example. If you've ever seen, usually it was very common in the United States earlier, but now in India as well, the judges are usually seen, reacting to different people and their behaviors, how they are wearing clothes, how they are behaving in the court. Do you think judges are impulsively reacting at that time? No, they're not impulsive because the judge has a lot of power. If they lose their head, they can get a lot done and maybe they have to bear the consequences. You have to be in control of your words, but you can say anything. I remember this person, there was this video, I was watching it from United States, I suppose it was a very rich girl. And she said that the judge says that you did a mistake, you pay $100 of a fine. And he said, bye-bye. And the girl said, adios, and gave him a flying kiss. He called him back and said, okay, dear, now you pay 10,000 of a fine. It was a good enough reaction. He also reacted, he showed that he's angry. And similarly, I remember I go to a client in my articleship. He used to be very angry, just abuse his staff, anything. He was into some sort of construction work and everything. And suddenly he used to be like, and suddenly he used to turn to us, yes, sir, I think this can be done in this way. What was true? That he was not impulse acting. He knew that's the way to talk. I'm asking you to be in control. I'm not asking you to do it in a certain way. You have to be in control. If you're shouting, you should know I'm shouting. And I'm in control of every word that comes out of my mouth. That's it. I'm sorry, Divyaji, if you feel bad, but be the woman in the conversation. So women, even when they're shouting, they know what to say and how to say it. And men, on the other hand, forget how to say things, and suddenly we have those domestic conversations where they say that, you're not behaving properly. And that kind of a control that women have in the household, we need that control in the workplace as well. That is why I believe that it is very difficult to compete for men these days because workplace is increasingly demanding of being in control of your emotions. Yeah. Let's move on to the next question, Divyaji.
Yes, sir. Sir, people normally start looking at their phone messages, which is a common phenomenon now. What do you think is the solution for this?
Well, I would say smartphone is the absolute enemy of your success. Trust me when I say this, it is the enemy of your success if you use it incorrectly. It is as good as prescription drugs. So when you've been prescribed to use it, there is a way that you have to use it, there's a time that you have to use it, and there's a purpose of that drug. But people, once their prescriptions are over, they are seen to have addiction of drugs, prescription drugs. Some people, after their surgeries, after going under the anesthesia, they start getting addicted to cocaine. It's just like that. Because at least 3 reasons why you should actually start thinking about your smartphone usage. I'm not saying how others feel about you, right? And I believe you will understand. If I'm looking at my phone, I'm not looking at the room. Do you understand? This is a problem. Because when I look at the room, I read the room first of all. So when I'm sitting in the room, let's say I come to your branch someday and I'm sitting inside and I have to observe that, okay, Anoopji looks like a person who will be interested in a friendly joke. Maybe Jean Paulji would not appreciate a very, funny bone. He would want you to be a little more serious. Maybe Divyaji appreciates a more subtle kind of a humor. Not humor, maybe she wants to understand, she is more interested in when I'm talking about intelligent stuff, when I'm talking about law sections, subsections. So how do I know who's reacting in what way if I'm not looking up? It is just like this. Now you all are on camera, I'm talking, and I'm talking about 10 different topics. Whosoever it is interested in whatever topic, I have to pick up the conversation on that topic with that person. This is a very important skill in networking. But suddenly I pick up my phone. I'm sorry, this is a remote, but I'm pretending it to be a phone. And I'm talking like, yeah, I was in Delhi for the last session and I was taking a session in Dubai after that. I don't know who's looking at how he's reacting. Not that they are feeling something. I am a bloody loser who does not understand what's going around me. Observation is the key for relationships. If we do not look up, kids these days, have you seen the kids? They are not able to understand how to talk to whom. When we were 4 or 5 years old, I'm asking all of you, Anup sir, Divyaji, I believe you will agree with me. When we were 5 to 6 years old, we knew this is grandpa. We don't have to even say bad words. We don't have to even behave badly in front of him. This is grandma. She loves us and we have to ask from all the sweets, we have to get it from grandma. Then we used to have our mother's mother, the nani. We used to go to them and get all the important requirements fulfilled because we were good observers. Today's kids cry and lie down on the ground in front of everybody. Even if he is your distant cousin, even if he is your maybe friend, colleague. Let's say Francis ji comes to my house, they will not understand that he's not a relative, he's a professional person, and they'll lie down on the ground for their demands. What is this? The lack of observation. Kids don't realize that their father is behaving differently to one person and differently to the other person. Because their head is like this. They're not looking around. And lack of observation is the biggest reason that your smartphone is going to kick you out. I did a small change in my lifestyle. I deleted all the Netflix and entertainment apps from my phone. I know it was difficult because I take a lot of flights, so it is a good source of entertainment. I said, okay, I'll read books, but I won't keep the entertainment in my phone. And then I deleted a lot of small games that we used to have, offline, online, that we used to play small games. Why? Because what has changed in the era of internet is, earlier, I remember this line, oh, I left this at work, but I'll pick it up tomorrow at 10 o'clock, 10:30 when I get to work. Oh, I had to give this money to my wife for paying the maid. No, I'll do it today in the evening. I wanted to watch the movie. Okay, I'll rent the DVD on Saturday and I'll watch it. Everything had a time and a place. But technology has removed that, and actually it is a problem because our brain is confused. In office, we want to watch videos. We want to listen to songs when we are in the office. And in the home, we are opening our laptops and working. So we are actually tiring our brain out. That is exactly what is going wrong with the smartphone. So start taking corrective actions right now and make sure you pass on to the generation. Because in future, success will be of the people who are able to balance the time and focus on one thing at a time. Trust me, this is going to be a very important skill. We will have a session on that in the next 10 years, I'll tell you. Moving on, Divyaji, let's go to the next question.
Sure, sir. So sometimes from another person's body language, we can identify whether they are interested or not. So in such situations, how do we break the ice?
Okay.
In terms of communication?
Firstly, what I said, read the room. Every person is different. For example, if you're asking me as an insurance agent, trust me, the ice is so thick that to break that down, you need to be coming up with the most advanced tools. But I've seen that even in the cases of one of the ice that practicing CAs face, if some of us are practicing on, of course, that people do not value accounting as a skill. People do not value accounting as a service. As CAs, we have faced that a lot of times. They said that this is not something that is relevant. We would pay the minimum. We want the accounts to be filed to the government, and we don't care what profits you're showing and how the things are actually turning out to be. Well, realistically, we have to analyze the ice first of all. That if it is something that is because of what we are doing, or if it is something which is because of the generations or years and years of presumptions. Like importance of accounting will only be learned when they will once have a very huge notice from the income tax or the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Only then they'll understand that importance. We have to find our way in the ice. Instead of trying to break the ice every time, why don't we find the way in our ice? Like people want just the accounts to be filed with the department on time. So we sell that as a service. Okay, you don't think about accounting, we'll take care of everything. But to take care of everything, we need 20-25% extra as a fees because we are taking care of everything. You're not collaborating in that. Trust me, if instead of breaking the ice, I address that ice, that okay, you don't want to deal with accounting. No, you hate this as a job. So okay, don't pay me 1 lakh, you pay me 1,25,000, I'll take care of everything. They'll be happy because they do not want to have anything to do with accounts. And you are actually getting to, get your cards played right and things are going in your favor. So ice is not something which you have to break every time. But still, there's one thing called as wearing down. Wearing down can be done by multiple meetings. Of course, I'll try to take you to that slide which I taught you a few things. I mean, just a second. This one was not this. This one. So you can use any of these 6 skills. You can try and add ideas to it. You can try and find things that unite you. Like I said, some people say we are not NRIs. Some people say we are Indians who don't reside in India. That's it. So we both are connected. And of course, share a common hobby, go on a meal, talk about different things that make them interested, and of course, then get them where you want them and then hit them hard. Yes, can we move to the next question?
Sure, sir. In the course of communication, how can we identify whether the communication has been effective or not?
Rephrasing. It's done by rephrasing. As simple as that. Like, for example, if this was a room full of people, I would not have ended the session in the way that I started with questions. Please understand. I would have said, so, okay, everybody, do we understand the importance of interpersonal skills? Do we understand those 5 topic heads that I gave you? Okay. Do you understand emotional intelligence? Do you understand how emotional intelligence can be skilled? 4 or 5 techniques that I taught you. Do you know the 6 decorations? 4 problems with communication? You say the names. And after you're able to say the name, if my room is able to take those 5 or 6 important parts of my speech, I know that it has been effective. Which we always do when this communication is inside a room. Now, I cannot ask the audience to start writing it down and you start reading it, but then this is the way you can know it is effective. And how I know my sessions are effective, usually after a session is over, at least 20 to 30 people message us on LinkedIn, and we know that people were listening for 2 hours. So that is our way of understanding that it has been effective. So depending on the mode of communication, you have to give time to feedback. Like if it's a room conversation, face to face, the feedback comes straight away sometimes. But when it is a webcast, not even a live interactive communication in a Zoom meeting, it's a webcast. So I can get my feedback for the next week or maybe a month. Or sometimes people don't give any messages, but once I meet them in some part of the world, they say, okay, I attended that session and it was a wonderful time we had. So sometimes the feedback comes years later. So yeah, effectiveness of communication, best way, rephrase and paraphrase. Ask them questions about what you've said and you were good to go. That's the best thing to do with your staff, mostly. Here's the next question.
So, do you have any suggestions wherein how we can cultivate a nurturing relationship with someone whom we don't interact very often, but we want to make a positive impact on them?
Then you need to have the approach of understanding the person before you start to, try and getting into their circles. If you like them, you want to get have a very close relation with them, you know more about them than they know about you, of course. So try and meet them on common grounds. Have you not seen Bollywood movies? At least one thing we can learn, that whenever the hero had to get in touch with the favorite builder, or maybe the favorite manager or the client, they used to go to the same club. They used to start going to the same place to eat. They start observing and behaving like you. Start dressing like them. Start to observe and see what kind of conversations they enjoy. I'll give you one example. So one of my favorite, I have a lot of ideals. I have a lot of people I admire. I want to get in touch with. So when I became a chartered accountant, my inspiration of professional behavior was not a chartered accountant. It was a doctor, and more than a doctor, it was a dermatologist. What I liked about him is that being a dermatologist, what dermatologists usually do is they make money by insecurities like hair transplants, skin, nose surgeries, lip surgeries. But that doctor was very focused on treating diseases. So you ask him that I want a hair transplant, he say, what happened? Is it giving you any trouble? Don't get it done. But then today I see that he charges 10 times of any normal dermatologist. I wanted to get in touch with him, have a close relationship with him. I realized he reads a lot about the religious text, the Hindu religious text. He's very interested in them. So next time when I met him, due to any reason, I talked to him about 2 or 3 stories from mythology. And of course, working with him, talking to him, we started sharing numbers, and now he's one of my favorite clients too, by the way. So you need to have the right connection built with the right topic, not just conversations, behaviors, way of life, everything. And this is a real life story that I just told you. So everybody has this similar problems. Yes, let's move to the next question.
Yes. So, next question is, how can we say a firm no without affecting the relationship, especially since nowadays people find it really hard to accept refusal?
Accept what?
Accept refusal, as in if someone asks us something, and how can we say no to them without affecting the relationship?
No, don't say no. Just quote the fees. The client knows it's a no. Just quote the fees. They say, can you answer this question? You just say, okay, I'm sending you the bill of consultation and I'm sending the answer in the mail or in the letter. They'll instantly know it's a no without even being affected. That's okay. Just send a bill. A funny one, but true. Start charging for your consultation, and no will be an easier thing for you. Because you can easily, what I want is, like, for example, Anupji is a very, now becomes very close to me, and he says that there is some problem in one of the accounts, one of his clients. He wants me to sign it, but please understand there are problems. I cannot say no to him because I know the problems are not very ethical, but it's just technical issues. But I can just do this, no? I charge 1 lakh from a normal client, I quote him 150, he knows it's a no. But still he can never say that I said no. I just refused in a very subtle way. Even when I told him the story, he can never say that I refused. So just be subtle and be very professional. No is something which you have to say somewhere or the other. But then, yeah, do it subtle and make sure it is not affecting the other person's respect. He does not take it on his ego. That's it.
Okay, right. Next question. How can we manage our emotional intelligence in difficult times?
Okay, I hate to share my personal stories, but it's about time that I do. I gave my examination. Okay, I was only close to one person in the world before being a CA, and that was my mother. I lost her 20 days before my final examination, and I cleared that bloody exam and I became a chartered accountant at that very attempt. And that was the attempt when most people were coming to me and saying that you drop this attempt because this is not what you have to, because this is not something you'll be able to do and you'll disturb your mental peace. I can tell you one thing for sure. When you have to, go to work, instead of carrying the baggage of what is happening at home, treat it as a ventilation. Like when you go home, you don't want to talk about work. Okay, leave work at work. Similarly, leave home at home. So every day, 8 to 10 hours you have away from everything, because everything is crazy in this world, right? Nothing makes sense. Everywhere you have problems, and except movies and television serials, nowhere we have background music playing in our head. We're always in trouble. We always have problems to address. Anybody in this meeting room, if he thinks otherwise, I'm so sorry. But I think Divyaji, Jean Paulji, and Anupji, every time there is some problem we have in the home, some problem we have in the office. Yes or no? Every time there is something or the other which is wrong somewhere. So instead of carrying that baggage to other places, treat yourself as a priority. And when you go to work, forget about what's happening at home. When you go to home, forget about what's happening at office. Try and leave the baggages behind. And this is going to come with practice. More you do, the better you have results. Let's move on. Divyaji. Anupji, am I audible?
Yes, but Divya disconnected, I think.
She got disconnected.
Okay, okay.
Um,
She's there.
Yeah.
Sir, that's about it with the questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nagul sir. So I will ask our immediate past chairman, CA Jean Paul sir, to have a summary of the session. Jean Paul sir, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Anu Francis, the Vice Chairman of the Thrissur branch. And I also appreciate the efforts of the committee and the faculty of the day, Nakul Arora sir. It's a great honor to be part of your presentation. And Thrissur branches always have a lot of intellectual part to become should be coming up for the members' part. So it's a great honor for us to be with you, sir. So, being part of the summary, I would say that the interpersonal skills refers to the abilities and the tools of social interactions that individuals exhibit in their day-to-day interactions with the other people. Generally, interpersonal competence and the interpersonal effectiveness determine one's ability to interact with others and build relationships. Interpersonal communication skills are at play in the workplace when an individual communicates with another, helping create and maintain positive relations. Interpersonal skills enable professionals to effectively communicate among themselves and with their stakeholders. From today's session, we have learned various issues of the developing interpersonal communication skills for chartered accountants. And he has also mentioned how to say no. That is the punch word, I would say. This is our bill. Bill will serve all the purposes to say yes or no. So it was your punchline for the day, sir. Nagul sir, it's a great honor to be with you once again. Thank you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jean sir, for the wonderful summary. So as a formality, I would like to request our Vice Chairman, C.S. Satish TG, for a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Chairman. And it has been such an honor to be the part of this wonderful webcast on interpersonal communication skills for chartered accountants, organized by the Professional Enrichment Committee of ICI. On behalf of Professional Skills Enrichment Committee ICI, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our CA speaker, CA Nagul Arora, for his enlightening session, and CA Dr. Anuj Goyal, Chairman, Professional Skill Enrichment Committee, ICI. CA Sri Priya Kumar, Vice Chairperson, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICI, for their active guidance. Sincere thanks to the event enablers from Thrissur branch of SIRC of ICI, who enabled the webcast throughout. A wide round of applause and thanks to the organizers, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, our today's speaker, CL Nagul Aroraji, and other stakeholders who made this webcast a memorable one. Finally, we would like to thank all of you present here and helping us to make this webcast a grand success. Thank you, one and all.